again, I'm back in my old spot. I'll do a few more videos like this. Well, a lot more videos like this because I won't have as many working from home. I guess I want to do a little video because I've been looking at some of my old journals and a lot of the same narratives come up. And I think I mentioned that in a previous video. That's kind of good. At least there's a consistency in terms of my thought processes, my messaging. But I've come to realise, and maybe I've always realised, I need to actually work on myself more. And what I mean by work on myself, do some form of therapy. Now, the irony is I trained as a life coach, so I know some of the basic principles, maybe not the deep stuff, but the basic principles of how to unlock some of the hidden narratives and messages. I guess I need to find a way in which to apply some of this thinking. So what I've done is asked ChatGPT for some guidance. At some point I may well go to an individual or find one online and do Zoom calls or whatever. And I guess the irony is I know these things work because I've trained in it. I just at the moment don't feel as comfortable at least speaking to somebody in this town, because it's a small town, don't really want to bump into people, etc, etc, etc. So I've done some prompting in ChatGPT and it's given me some insights of how to work on myself. Again, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of what I'm working on. A lot of it's, as ever, childhood stuff. Trauma, probably with a small T, not a big T. Maybe a medium-sized T for some of it, but not kind of severe, in my view. Maybe some people would kind of think it otherwise. So yeah, I guess it's important to find to work on ourselves. You know, this goal for financial independence is wonderful and it's great, but again, it's finding that why. Why am I doing it? Am I doing it to escape something? Am I doing it to prove something to other people? And if I'm not doing certain things, if I'm not applying myself like I say I want to, there's a reason for that. Some of it I know is the little child in me trying to hold back and not be judged, to not be seen sometimes, to just be left alone to get on with stuff. Some of it is definitely over self-consciousness, which I'm trying to turn into a positive element for me. This idea of being a unicorn. You know, in this world of work, a lot of people are just basically generic blah, as it were. They use the same templates, they use the same ChatGPT to write their CVs, their LinkedIn, and they just merge into one. They don't stand out. The goal really, again, I'm shifting tact conversationally now. The goal really is to try and be more of a unicorn. How do you stand out as an individual in a sea of 1,000 people applying for the same job with probably similar experiences to you? So you find your unicorn angles. I think some of my unicorn angles are things probably that I kind of push down. You know, I look around, a few people around, but you know, I live in Hong Kong. Not a lot of people. Well, no, that's a lie. There are some who look like me in Hong Kong. I shouldn't say that I'm the one and only, but the reality is I stand out for being different, and that's okay. And in the unicorn world, you want to stand out in a way. Not everyone wants a unicorn, but if everybody is the same, you've got to find a way to stand out. So I think what I'm trying to say is later in life I've not only accepted but embraced the fact that I have found ways to stand out looking different, sounding different perhaps. While being younger, I just wanted to blend in. I just wanted to be kind of like everybody else. And I'm fully aware of that for my kids as well. They need to find a way to get the balance between blending in but also being unicorns. So that again, from a career growth perspective, I think is important. But for me, as I said, this is part of my self-reflection. Again, I've written diaries, journals, call it what you will, over the years. I pulled out a journal from 2013, and that journal from 2013 was referring back to things from 2007, saying things haven't changed on X, Y, and Z. And I was looking at it in 2025 thinking certain things haven't changed since 2013 or 2007. So again, things don't have to change, but if I say that I want to change things and they haven't, then there's very clearly something I need to address. And I know that doing the work is important. As I said, I may well go to a formal therapist, and again, this resistance is kind of strange given that I know the world works, but I want to first try out ChatGPT and use prompts that are powerful and work, and try and engage with it that way. And then if I still feel stuck, then go to the next level, which is a therapist in human form. I just wanted to kind of say that if your goals are kind of, you've had the goals and just keep on hitting brick walls, maybe you just got to kind of take a step back and think, let's work on the emotional side of life and the spiritual, maybe, how to find meaning and purpose. Meaning I see as the emotional bit, purpose is the spiritual bit. Maybe that's oversimplifying, probably got it wrong, but it's certainly all about looking at how you show up in the world, how you have shown up in the world in the past, how you want to show up in the world in the future. And I know that I need to work on certain elements of my life to move to the next stage. Okay, well, I think this area is getting a bit busier, so I'm not going to keep on talking about my life story in such a public area. But I do wonder why. I've talked a lot about financial independence, financial freedom, etc., for years, and I wonder why certain elements of it haven't moved on. Particularly at a time when I did have time to fully put the hours in, as opposed to now that I've got reasons and excuses for not having as much time to do so. So something triggered yesterday listening to a podcast, and I realised, you know what, you've got to actually start looking at things, address what you feel needs to be addressed, work on it, journal on it, and come out better the other side. Again, accept that everyone is broken of sorts. Everyone's imperfectly perfect or perfectly imperfect, whichever way you want to put it, and just kind of work on what needs to be done for oneself. That's really all I have to say today, because it's again another lovely day. Financial freedom, not quite there yet, but I am still working on it. But again, I think the financial freedom element, a lot of people focus on the tips and tricks and externalities, and the how to save, how to cut costs, how to maximize your tax advantage accounts, and all of that is relevant, but sometimes it's about working on the internal stuff. We know, I think deep down we all know, we don't need any more information. Even before, actually, no, I won't say even before the internet, but there's so much on the internet. Even before what you've read this year on a certain subject, you may well have probably had all the answers already. You probably have all the answers now that you need. So if you have all the answers, what is stopping you? And again, I looked back at a journal entry from 2015, and it said that same thing. You have all the answers, so what's stopping you? 10 years later, I have even more of the answers. What's stopping me? So, yeah, it's time to dig deep, feel uncomfortable, and that's really what it is, feeling comfortable about self, and that's really what I need to do. Right, I've waffled on enough, and until next time, bye bye.